let's talk about the shooting that just happened in California, the anti-gay shooting. I think it's important to talk about it. So recently, there was a shooting in California that led to the death of a 66-year-old woman by the name of Laura Ann Carleton. She had a small store, and outside of that store, she had a rainbow flag. And now we've learned from the family that on a few occasions, on at least 3 separate occasions that I've been made aware of, people had gone and harassed the store over the flag, either taking the flag down, or like there was with the person who actually ended up doing the killing, they had even verbally confronted them. And after this verbal confrontation with the store owner, they murdered her. They took out the pistol and murdered her. Now, it's not hard when you look at the events leading up to her being murdered by this bigot, by this hateful homophobic terrorist, who was killed by the police afterwards because he ran and then shot at police and the police capped him. It wasn't hard to understand the motives of this person, you know, gets in confrontation over pride flag, kills pride flag owner. You know, the math there is pretty clear, but you never truly know until you have all the information. And now that more of the information is coming out and we got more info, we know that it was what we thought. He was a homophobic terrorist. Man who shot store owner for flying pride flag was a far-right conspiracy theorist. Let's read a little bit of the article, read a little bit about him, and we'll just look at one of his tweets to give you an idea of the type of mentality that led this man to engage in terrorism. The man who shot and killed the store owner last week over her display of a pride flag outside her store was a far-right conspiracy theorist who shared deeply anti-LGBTQ and anti-Semitic content on his social media accounts. Travis, 27, shot Laura Ann Carleton, 66, on Friday after yelling many homophobic slurs about the store's pride flag, San Bernardino County Sheriff Shannon Dickus said at the news conference Monday. The shooter fled the scene, but police officers tracked him down later on Friday. When confronted, police said in a press conference, the 27-year-old fired at multiple patrol vehicles with an unregistered semi-automatic handgun before he was shot in what was described by officials as a lethal force encounter. They capped him. They blew him away. Authorities said they are continuing to investigate the murder as a possible hate crime. I wonder what gave them that inclination. While they believe the shooter acted alone, authorities are continuing to look into the possibility that he was affiliated with a hate group. But a review of the 27-year-old social media accounts on X, the platform formerly known as Twitter, God, what a terrible rebranding, especially since every time they say X, they refer to the old website name, and the far-right social network Gab, show that the shooter, by the way, I don't know anybody that has an account on Gab that is not insane. And I'm not saying that they don't exist. I actually founded a Gab account when it first started, and then I got followed by Clint Eastwood, and then I was like, okay, I've peaked, I'm done here, and then I never posted again. I was just interested in it. And originally the pitch was, we're the free speech platform. Unlike Twitter, unlike Facebook, you can say whatever you want here. And then somebody posted boobs, and they were like, never mind, that's not allowed. We're now the Christian social media platform, and you can't do ungodly things on our and immediately, like, 180'd on all of their principles to be a Christian social media platform. It was very bizarre. Just showed how paper thin their values really were. The shooter had fully embraced a wide range of conspiracy theories, from claiming that the 9/11 attacks were staged to suggestions that former First Lady Michelle Obama is a man, to denying climate change. He also posted content opposing gun control measures. I think, you know, these 4 different things are very different. Claiming the 9/11 attacks were staged. Michelle Obama's a man. Climate change isn't real. I oppose certain types of red flag law legislation. I think they maybe should have been a little bit more specific, you know, like what is he in favor of people like owning like claymores, you know, or is he just against like an AR-15 ban? I don't know. Yeah, I feel like they kind of They kind of led with the hard material and then follow with the soft material. Also, can I just say the Michelle Obama is a man thing is the wildest conspiracy theory to me. Because let's say it's true. It's not true. There's no evidence for it, but let's say it's true. What now? What's the next stage? What? Okay, you've discovered Michelle Obama's a man. Now what? This reminds me of, I believe it was a Lady Gaga interview where they were like, some rumors say you have a penis. Are you a transvestite? Who knows? Maybe. I'm not going to tell you. What if I was? Let's say I was a transvestite. Let's say I did have a penis. What would that change? And it really put the interviewer, like, it stopped them in their tracks. Like, okay, let's say Michelle Obama is a man or trans, if they're not just doing drag, I guess, 24/7. Now what? What? We have all learned that Barack Obama is vaguely aware of the video game Fallout New Vegas. That's the only thing we've learned if we found out that Michelle Obama is trans or a man in drag. I don't really know about a man in drag in the Fallout thing, but if they're trans, Fallout New Vegas, it changes nothing. That's why it's always the bizarrest conspiracy theory. It's literally just, I don't like the queers. My opponents are queers. Ha ha. That's all it is. The shooter spent much of his time online sharing anti-LGBTQ content, reposting and responding to content shared by right-wing figures like commentators Matt Walsh, that one's not surprising, he's a very, very hateful man, and fringe networks like the One American News Network. It's somewhere where a lot of Trump supporters fled to after Fox News turned out to not completely be devoted to the Trump cult. His pinned tweet, posted in June, simply showed a rainbow flag on fire with the caption, "What to do with the LGBTQ plus P flag? LGBTQP flag." This is the thing, by the way. This is the post. I had it pulled up. Some of you might be confused because most people would be familiar with LGBT. A smaller number of people, but still a significant amount of people, would be familiar with LGBTQ and even LGBTQ plus. But I don't think any of you guys are familiar with LGBTQP. And when I first read it, I was like, what is P? I was trying to think, like, polyamory? Like, what is P? And then I figured it out. Oh, he means pedophile. He's just being a dishonest hack. That's what he means. And if you believe that this flag represents that, genuinely, even though obviously it's wrong, nobody in the community thinks that when they see that flag, but if that's what you think, or if that's what you've been told, and that's what you've been convinced by certain commentators or others, then it isn't surprising that if you think that that's what that flag represents, it would cause so much rage in this person. And then would lead him to do what he did. Which is why you shouldn't lie about the flag and what the community represents. Because lies have real consequences. On Gab, one of his pinned posts was even more explicitly threatening to the community. "We need to stop compromising on this LGBT dictatorship and not let them take over our lives," he wrote. That was what he was concerned with? Was that what that flag represented? A store that he didn't own, he went to, was flying a flag he disagreed with, and that was the LGBT dictatorship taking over his lives. It wasn't, oh, I'm being forced to be trans, or I've been forced to engage in intercourse with femboy, or whatever I guess this gay dictatorship would engage with. I'd certainly start up the femboy farms if I was in charge of the gay dictatorship. It's none of that. It's just seeing the rainbow flag was enough to make him angry about them taking over his life. Stop accepting this abomination that the government is forcing us to submit to these mentally disordered tyrants. Mentally disordered, says the terrorist. Mentally disordered, says the person firing upon police. Mentally disordered, huh? Another pinned post on Gad featured a link to a video entitled, "When You Should Shoot a Cop," along with the captions, "There will come a time that we will have to do this." Well, he didn't I think, pay enough attention to those instructions because, I mean, he missed. Sounds like all that prep didn't really do much for him, did it? While the shooter's X profile remains active, his Gab profile was removed late on Monday. X and Gab did not immediately respond to requests for comment. The majority of the suspect's posts are infused with an overt Christian nationalism. That's not a surprise, he was on Gab then. Which quickly gave way to virulent anti-Semitism and much of the content he shared online. The shooter only followed 19 people on X, including the One America News Network, former President Donald J. Trump, conspiracy theorist David Knight, who once worked with Alex Jones. The shooter also followed and boosted right-wing professor and conspiracy theory promoter Jordan Peterson. Conspiracy theory promoter? Which theory are they talking about? YouTube removes video of Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Jordan Peterson for vaccine misinformation. I would have to know what Jordan Peterson said. Robert F. Kennedy, I know about this, but I'd have to hear what Jordan Peterson said. While law enforcement continues to look into why the shooter carried out the attack, Carolyn's daughter, Ari Carleton, told NBC News on Monday that her family doesn't care about him. We will continue to steer the narrative away from him and towards my mother and honoring her. He is irrelevant, she told the broadcaster. The media must stop glorifying these individuals by giving them a platform. You know, I listened to the daughter talk about her mom on CNN earlier today. And there was a story she told me that actually I thought was very, very impactful. Apparently, before this shooting, she had noticed that the rainbow flag at her store had started to become discolored with time.
Occurred.
Can't find a name I like. Gave Stubble Boy a tier 1 subscription.
Hey, thank you.
Double the money, so you get 10 United States dollars, right? Pause Chom Kappa full body armor soon.
Thank you so much for the tier 1. So if you donate a tier 1 sub in site chat, that's $5. And the people here at DylanBurns TV, me and Danabo, see that $5. You know, it goes to everybody staffing and doing the work to make the journalism here work. If you did it on Twitch, half of it would go to Jeff Bezos. Literally half of it would go to Jeff Bezos. So that's the benefit of going to site chat and donating and subbing on site chat. And that's why I favor site chat. Thank you so much for the tier 1 sub. That puts us at what, like $615 out of the $750 cost for the body armor, helmet armor, and all of that. But the story, thank you, I appreciate it. The story, she had noticed that the flag in front of her store, the rainbow flag, had become discolored with time due to the sun. And so she had ordered another flag. Then she got murdered. And recently, I think it was yesterday or the day before, their family got the new flag, the new rainbow flag on their doorstep that she had ordered after she died. That must have been a wild, wild feeling for the family. Laura Ann Carleton, who is a well-known fashion designer in Los Angeles and operated 2 clothing stores, was also known for supporting the LGBTQ+ community. She spent her time helping and advocating for everyone in the community, the Lake Arrowhead LGBTQ+ group said in a tribute on their Instagram page. Carleton, who preferred to be called Lori, showed her support by putting small rainbow flags in her flower pots outside her store, and when they were stolen, she would replace. And that's the thing. Her stuff would be harassed, her stuff would be stolen, but she'd keep putting it up because this is the United States. It's a free country. You have freedom of expression, even if certain terrorists don't respect that. She would replace them with even bigger ones, her friend Melissa Lawton told CBS. She is survived by Bort Carleton, her husband of 28 years, and 9 children. God, I couldn't imagine what that family feels like. This is the result of telling people that the LGBTQ+ community are a bunch of groomers and pedophiles. If you say that, that's going to inspire people to try to treat them like a bunch of groomers and pedophiles. And if you look at our culture and how we view pedophilia, it is one of the most disgusting things that a human being could do. For good reason. You're hurting children. If you go touch children like that, you're hurting children. You deserve to go to prison for a very long time. Period. But if you take that social stigma and try to apply it to queer people, which is not a new precedent, by the way. This is something that's been going on forever. Just look up Boys Beware. Look up the old PSAs about the homosexuals preying on the youth. This is not a new homophobic narrative. It's just one that's been remixed by people like Matt Walsh and Michael Knowles. This is nothing new. It's just a remix. If you convince people that that's what they are, they're going to treat them like that. And this is the result of that. Lies can kill people. Be careful what you talk about. Be careful what you say when you're talking about not only when you're just talking about such divisive issues, but when you're talking about an issue that can affect the real lives of people. The rhetoric has to de-escalate, and it needs to de-escalate now, or you're going to make it so many queer people feel like they don't got any other option but to escalate in kind. And that doesn't mean going out and engaging in violence, but that means arming themselves in preparation for violence. And I would much rather not see an arms race and would like to see a de-escalation in rhetoric so that we can live harmoniously with each other and people live their own lives. I live my life, you live your life, we all live each other's lives independently, and we can all go about our own daily activities. That's the dream, isn't it?